Members of the media and Eagle fans are already scared of the Dallas Cowboys come Sunday night. Jason Kelce's ankle injury could be worse than expected, and you got to get A.J. Brown some more touches. I'm Thomas Mott. This is The Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome into a Monday edition of the Thomas Mott Show, a show where we like to talk about the National Football League and the only undefeated team in the NFL right now, the 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles. How about that? We're going to jump into a lot of stuff regarding them today, and then, of course, finish with our National League story of the day, as we always do. Thumbs up and subscribe to help the show grow. There's this narrative that's already started among Philadelphia Eagle fans that they are terrified of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, you might not be terrified, but I'm going to show you a good instance of some media people who seemingly are scared to death of Dallas, who is 4-1, had a very impressive win against the Rams yesterday. Yes, sure, whatever. But apparently, yesterday's gritty win against the Arizona Cardinals has made some people in the media less excited about the Eagles than it should. Now, I'm not saying Philadelphia was perfect yesterday. They had their issues, talked about that in the show yesterday after the game, but to go on and talk about how the Cowboys are going to run all over this Eagles team, to me is a little bit ridiculous. Now, I normally save my reaction videos for Friday, and you guys should subscribe just for my Friday hottest Eagle Take videos that come up every single Friday, but I have to show you what Seth Joyner said via Jakib Media yesterday on their postgame show about Philadelphia playing the Dallas Cowboys. He was highly critical of where the Eagles are at after beating, again, they won yesterday, they didn't lose, beating yesterday and winning against the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
You know, it's hard to be critical when they win a football game.
Sure.
But it's necessary.
Okay.
It's necessary. I mean, for us to sit up here and pull our pom-poms out and cheer after what we just watched, you know, it would be wrong. I mean,
was it really that bad? I don't remember watching that game yesterday and going, wow, this is a bad football team. It wasn't their best game. Like, sorry they didn't blow out the Arizona Cardinals, who are, well, at least a good football team defensively, and they have Kyler Murray. Man, I mean, I was happy with the win. I got my pom-poms out. I was cheering. We're 5-0.
I mean, 100% wrong, okay? Offensively, they looked in that. Once they got past halftime, they looked like they had no answer for the blitz. I don't know that we have sight adjustments built into, you know, our offense. When teams show us blitz like the Cardinals did in the second half today and like Detroit did in game one, we have no adjustment for it. Our wide receivers run.
Okay, he's not necessarily wrong about the fact that blitzes were a problem yesterday, but you can work on that. I like the callback to Detroit as if we didn't score 38 points against the Detroit Lions blitzing defense, right? How many points did we score against Detroit?
Our routes, just like they were drawn up, instead of sight adjusting to the fact that, you know what, they're sending too many guys for our protection to pick up. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you know, I'm listening to the commentator while we're watching the game. Oh, Jonathan Gannon likes to play a shell defense. You know, he just doesn't.
Okay, the shell defense did get a little old on 2 of the drives, but that was it. They still held them to like 17 points. Did they not hold them to 17 points overall? Man, we're really critical this morning on a Monday. Very critical. Let's fast forward here. I want to get to the quote you see on your screen.
Hey, listen, I'm happy that they're 5-0, okay? But after what I witnessed the Dallas Cowboys do to the LA Rams today,
oh my goodness,
they're not going to. The Cowboys are going to come in here and embarrass the hell out of them on Sunday Night Football.
Come on, Seth. They're going to embarrass Philadelphia? I mean, does 5-0 mean nothing? Okay, again, we're going to look at Dallas here in just 1 second. And credit to Dallas, they've been able to stay afloat and play very good defense over the course of the Dak Prescott injury. But if you really think the Eagles are going to get embarrassed, meaning they're going to lose by double digits, essentially, on Sunday night at the link to the Dallas Cowboys, wow, I mean, that's a take. You must think the Eagles are trash, because I do not see that happening at all. We can go over to Dallas and talk about Dallas for a second here. And again, I know we like to focus on Philadelphia, and we hate the Dallas Cowboys if you're an Eagle fan, but you give credit where credit is due. Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, defense overall by Dan Quinn has been good. But to sit there and think that the Cowboy offense is going to torch the Eagles defense after what we've seen from the Cowboy offense so far, Dak or Cooper Rush, it doesn't matter, is ridiculous. Okay, 3 points with Dak against the Bucs, 3. Right? Then you go against the Bengals, you score 20, that's it, and there was a lot of defensive plays in that one. Then you score 23 against the Giants, you score 25 against the Commanders, that game is, the Commanders are trash, and you score 22 against the Rams, but there was a defensive touchdown, take 7 off the board, right? I'm not saying Dallas is bad. I'm not trying to sit here and say you shouldn't worry at all as if the Eagles are going to run, 31-10 over the Dallas Cowboys. But come on, Seth, there's no way that you can't be at least a little bit happy with the performance yesterday. The Eagles needed a gritty game. And it's funny how the media does this. We talked about this last week. Oh, well, the Eagles have not had any sort of adversity in the second half. They need to be tested before I can buy into them. Eagles get tested in the second half and win. Oh, wow, man. You don't like to see it. You have a close game in the second half. That's no good. Dallas is going to spank you. The Dallas high this week in the national media is going to be very fun to watch because people are going to be all over the Cowboys saying that they're like Super Bowl contenders and, oh, Dak versus Cooper Rush and they're going to beat the Eagles. Okay, let's just wait till Sunday night because I actually believe in this team. And I don't know if it's because they're 5-0 or the fact that they have one of the best rosters in the league and are really balling out. Man. It's fun. It's fun to see that sort of stuff. I like Seth Joyner, by the way. I think he does a great job with the Jakib Media postgame. I don't want to rip on him. I think he's fantastic. I'd love to have him on the show, but that was a very hot take right after an Eagles win to go to 5-0. Okay, I want to move over here quickly to A.J. Brown because I think there was a lot of tweets I saw yesterday talking about the usage of A.J. Brown. Bleeding Green Nation has a good write-up here up on your screen. They need to get him the ball more because the first couple of drives he was great, and then we saw nothing. Listen to this, quote, A.J. Brown's usage in this game was very strange. For the first time all season, he was not in the field to officially start the game. It was the first time he didn't start a game he played in since Week 9 of the 2020 season. With the Eagles going hurry up on their first drive, Brown missed several plays before finally getting on the field. Then the Eagles targeted him on 3 straight plays, 2 of which went for first downs before he dropped a pass on his third look. Then it felt like the Eagles didn't really make a big effort to get him the ball the rest of the day. Brown finished with 7 total targets, one of which came on a play where Jalen Hurts got lucky the Cards dropped an interception. Ultimately, Brown played his lowest snap count of the season at 74%. His previous low was 80% in Week 3. With the offense struggling more than usual, it was odd that the coaching staff didn't get Brown more involved. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. They're not wrong here. You do need to make sure you focus in on A.J. Brown, and there is an argument to say, well, if they take away A.J. Brown, then you see Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert go off, as they did. But Brown is too good to just not go his way. I do think this was a great learning opportunity for Steichen and Jalen Hurts to kind of get into the laboratory this week and go, okay, if Trayvon Diggs and the Dallas Cowboy defense focuses in on A.J. Brown, yes, we go to Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith, but you still need to be able to get him the football because if he doesn't have 5 to 6 catches for 70 or 85 yards, then the offense is not going to go as well as you would like it to. So I'm not going to freak out and be like, oh my gosh, they're not using A.J. Brown. This is terrible. No. It's Week 5. Let's learn, okay? Clearly, Arizona went, we're going to take away A.J. Brown. Even though he didn't play as many snaps, they were doing a lot of double teams on him. You still need to find a way to get A.J. Brown the football. He is just that good. Okay, I want to go ahead and get to, let's go to the AL.com article talking about Jalen Hurts' comments after the win. And I think this is just a good, quick little look into the mindset of Jalen Hurts and how he's not satisfied with being undefeated, which I think is fine. Here he is after the game, quote, "We're a really good football team. We're still growing. We're still learning. We haven't played our best yet. So it's just a ton to learn from. I'm hungry and eager to get to that point, but it's a process. Rome wasn't built overnight." And he goes on to say, "Can we come in here and control the things we can, attack every day and just grow and climb? That's what matters, the process, not everything else." And I think this was a good overall game to kind of maybe punch Philadelphia in the gut just a little bit. Not a sucker punch to where they were to lose, but this shows them that they're not going to run crazy on everybody, right? And they had a decent running game, $130 on the ground. They moved the football really well in the first half, but they do need to be a little more consistent. You can't score every drive, which apparently Eagle fans are kind of demanding right now, but they do need to be a little bit more consistent. I think that this is a good time to show them that, hey, you got some things to work on, got some play calling issues to work on, sustain some more drives, and when they're able to do that and they put it all together, they're going to blow out a really good football team, and it might be Dallas on Sunday night. That's kind of my hope. They take on Dallas. It's Sunday night. I mean, the hype is going to be insane. It's going to be the most watched football game of the NFL season so far to this date. If they can look dominant, maybe finally those last 5% of Eagle haters out there will start to buy into the Birds. Now, they could be without Jason Kelce, and I know this might come to a surprise to you because as of right now, he did play the second half and was actually okay. However, according to ClutchPoints.com, there's a talk about how Jason Kelce is not feeling 100% with that ankle injury. So here's where it is. Quote, "Jason Kelce doesn't seem too worried about his ankle. Low ankle sprain. MRI to come will reveal grade of sprain." Kelce said he initially went into a medical tent to be tested for a concussion, then rolled ankle on one of the quarterback sneaks. And so he's going to get an MRI today, which means he's going to at least see the extent of the ankle sprain. This will be a pain tolerance thing, strictly a pain tolerance thing. Ankles are kind of very finicky. He probably won't practice tomorrow. He might not practice Wednesday. But he's probably going to play on Sunday, but will be very much a game-time decision. This offensive line is banged up. It is banged up. And the fact you get a bye week after Dallas is fantastic news for Philadelphia because it lets Mailata and it lets, Sam Malu's ankle heal up. And Dickerson's lower leg might be an ankle, we don't know. And Kelce's now ankle. This is an offensive line that has plenty of depth. They're fine without them. But at least for Sunday against a very good Dallas pass rush, Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, you need all these guys there. And it looks like Philadelphia has a chance to have all of them there. We're going to keep an eye, though, on this one. In terms of where Kelce is at, because if not, then Jurgens has to play, and that will be interesting to say the least, even though I believe in Jurgens. But again, you want to be full strength in the offensive line whenever you take on the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, finally, I want to at least mention the NFC East here on a National League story of the day. We went through the scoreboard briefly on our show last night, but I do want to mention that the NFC East is way more legit than I ever could have imagined. Now, Philadelphia is a big part of that because I don't think everyone thought 5-0. I think maybe 4-1 was the best case scenario that most of us thought going into the season. But let's at least give credit where credit is due to the New York Football Giants. And we don't like the Giants, but 4-1 with that roster, virtually not having wide receivers. They basically don't have good wide receivers. They finally had a legit win. My knock on the New York Giants for the entire first 4 weeks of the season was you've not played anybody. Right? You haven't beaten anybody good. Tennessee doesn't count, right? They go in and beat a good Packer football team. Now, the Packers have their own issues. They also don't have wide receivers, but they're at least going to be a playoff team, right? And the Giants, the fact they were able to go to London with a banged-up quarterback and essentially Saquon Barkley as their lone weapon is impressive, and it was a good win. The Giants are not going to be a 31-10 victory for Philadelphia. It doesn't look like it. Now, the Eagles are a better football team, very clearly, and that's unbiasedly saying that, even though I'm kind of biased. But still, they will beat the Giants, but they're pesky. And I thought the Giants would be the worst team in the division this year. They're not. That is the Washington Commanders. But this is going to be a football team that will worry Philadelphia starting next year. I think next year, depending on what they do at quarterback, obviously they have draft picks, they can be very dangerous in year 2 under Brian Daboll. That was one of the better hires, at least coaching-wise, in the National Football League, and it's unfortunate he's in the Eagles division. But credit to the Giants, they are pretty good. The Commanders are still pesky. You saw some magic from Carson Wentz. He had a couple of really good throws, but then, of course, the throw that mattered, at the goal line, he threw a pick. And so they're 1-4. They're probably going to fire Ron Rivera. They're going to go off Carson Wentz. I think this is going to be a team that tries to trade up for Bryce Young and really change their franchise after this season. They're pesky, again, against anyone they play, but not a threat. And then you go to Dallas, and again, you got to give credit where credit is due. But as we wrap up today's show, let's at least be honest about what the Dallas Cowboys are. The Dallas Cowboys are not beating you through the air. And if you get a lead on the Dallas Cowboys, you're going to see them collapse, whether it's Cooper Rush or Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush was 10 for 16 yesterday. No one's going to talk about that today. Nobody, national media-wise, will talk about that stat line. He had a QBR of 16.6. Now, again, he's 4-0, so what does it matter? Well, it matters when you get into a shootout against a good football team, and Philadelphia presumably is going to be that. Dallas wants to run it down your throat and play great defense and force turnovers. And if you don't let them do that, which Philadelphia, decent run defense, not too great a couple of games this year, but decent run defense, and they don't turn the ball over offensively, at least they haven't done that that much. Their turnover differential is incredible. If you're able to make Cooper Rush beat you, you can beat this Dallas Cowboys team. Now, again, they're playing good football, and I don't want to tell people that, the Eagles are going to blow them out, but just calm down a little bit when it comes to the Dallas hype this week. I know it's Dallas hate week. I know they're flying high after beating the Rams, but the Rams have a ton of issues. I mean, their offensive line is atrocious. They have 0 run game, and look at the numbers behind Cooper Kupp. Your next best receiver was Tutu Atwell, who had 1 catch for 54 yards. That's basically it, okay? This is not them beating the Super Bowl team that was the Rams last year. This is a very much regressive LA Rams team that is going to be fighting for a wildcard spot in the NFC and the NFC West. Okay, I'm trying to get some fun interviews here on the Thomas Mott Show this week. I can't tell you who they are, but I got some really fun ones hopefully lined up, so stay tuned for that. If you like the Thomas Mott Show, always hit the thumbs up button because YouTube loves that. And subscribe and turn the notifications because it's Dallas Hate Week, it's official, and it's going to be a fun week in the National Football League as we get ready for Sunday night against the Cowboys. For the Thomas Mott Show, Thomas Mott. See you guys.